actually having a really hard time making this video, and I'm sure there are other people out there who dislike this assignment as much as me. So if you're one of those people, please bear with me. I tried to look up icebreaker jokes because I thought that that might make it easier. And the best one I saw was I don't always make jokes about the Titanic, but when I do, I use it to break the ice, which is an awful joke, but I thought it was funny. So for those of you who are not watching this for school, this is for a class assignment called Death and Dying, where we're supposed to record 3 childhood dreams. And the first dream that I would like to talk about is when I was a child, I decided that I wanted to go to college. I even enrolled in a class called AVID. I grew up in Southern California, and it was for students who wanted to go to college. And I will be a first generation college graduate. My parents and my grandparents and none of my siblings have ever graduated from college before. And so when I started to pursue this track, I kind of got some negative feedback in that I was told things like, college is for people who aren't smart enough to get jobs without it, and that college was a waste of money. But I guess I got around that a little bit because I served in the military, and so the military is paying for my college. I'm a senior at the University of Utah, and so I'll attain that dream in the next 12 months. My next one would be becoming a PA. I didn't really know what a PA was for a large portion of my life, but I joined the Army as a combat medic, and my first duty station was in Pyeongtaek, Korea. And I was working in primary care, and I was bringing some paperwork over to the ER, and I saw someone who was in need of help, and I called a code, and I ran the code until the attending got there, and in this case it was a PA, and I really like how he handled the situation, and so I started to observe the role of PAs in the military, and I felt like they had less paperwork than the doctors, but they had more patient hands-on, and I felt like nursing wasn't really what I wanted. And so as I started to do research into what a PA was, I realized that vets returning home from Vietnam, the combat medics, they were actually the ones that became the PAs. And so the military had become my family at that point. And so I decided to continue to pursue the thing that my family and people who had come before me had done. And I must have performed well because 3 days later I was moved into the ER, and the rest of my life has been mostly emergency medicine. My last goal is probably the goal that started the youngest. I don't know how old I was when it started, but I really, really, really wanted to be a mom, and I thought that it would happen in due time. And so I didn't really worry about it too much. I met my husband when I was 20 years old. He was a Marine, and he left on his 3rd deployment to Afghanistan when we were engaged. And 3 months into his deployment, I got that phone call that he had been shot, and luckily he survived. But when he came home, he had some mental challenges that we have struggled with, I guess you could say, and some physical limitations that kind of changed and shifted his role in the home, and therefore shifted mine as well. When we decided to have children, we experienced some issues as far as fertility is concerned. And so for a long time, I wondered if I would ever have the opportunity to become a mom in any capacity. And so I guess, just when you start to give up is when things happen. 10 weeks ago, I got pregnant. And so I'm going to be able to fulfill that dream in April. And so pretty excited about that. Sorry for how awkward this was, but I appreciate you listening to the video. Have a nice day.